Hey, Retro Rob here from the GBit channel on YouTube. I have been finding some really good deals on eBay, which is really unusual. There was a seller out there selling from pretty uncommon games for like anywhere from $1 to $5. Buy it now. It's not not auctions. Buy it now is for anywhere from $1 to $5. I don't know if the guy was just looking to get rid of his collection or what, but most of them are gone now. I managed to grab a few I needed for really decent prices. I got a couple of games, common games. I got Yonoid, which is somewhat uncommon, for $2. I got, I'm trying to think of what all I got. A bunch of stuff on there. Like some of it I wasn't even able to like grab because by the time I pressed the button to buy it, it had just been bought, or they weren't online for very long. They weren't listed for very long. I got Gyrus, which is not uncommon per se, but it's not something I see often, and I got it for $3. So, and it's a game I like. It's a similar Tempest game. But back to this. So I won this. This one is actually an auction one. This is nothing to. This is not from the same user as those other NES games. It's just one I happened to run across. So, won it at auction for $4, right? I was happy, as I do have Pokemon Sapphire already, but it's it's very worn out. So I wanted to get a label upgrade, basically something to actually this way, and I can give the old one away, or trade it in or something like that, or trade it out, or trade it with somebody else for something I need. Everyone, most everyone that collects these games love Pokemon, so even if they don't admit it, they still play it every now and then. So $4. After I won the auction, first thing I noticed was the user's name. It's basically Wangham. WANGANM, I think. I had to look at the package, and it's in the other room. And I was like, okay, that's a little unusual. But then I noticed where it was coming from, which was China. Now, as many of you know, there are counterfeit cartridges. I'm not even going to say reproductions, but counterfeit cartridges that have been made of Pokemon in particular. So once I realized where it was coming from, I looked at the picture. Now, they only had one picture, and that's actually on the screen now. And you can look at it, and it looks like a legitimate cartridge. It's got the it's got the clear blue plastic. I think I saw another picture that showed the Nintendo logo on it, which you can kind of see there. Yeah, there you go. That's good. That's a good shot right there. Use the reflection. Did not appear to be a reproduction cartridge. The Nintendo logo there looks good. The only thing is that Pokemon cartridges, I'm going to go ahead and zoom out now, Pokemon cartridges use foil, and just without even touching the real cartridges here, you can tell that this looks different from these three. And I'm actually going to take I'm going to take my actual Pokemon Sapphire cartridge and kind of tilt it at the same angle. So, let's see if I can do this right. There we go. But you can clearly see how much more reflective this one is versus this one. This one is clearly just a glossy photo print. Yeah, so this is the first counterfeit cartridge I've ever owned. So I'm going to go ahead and pop them open and see what's going on. So got my handy dandy screwdriver here. So all right. So first thing you notice, and this is the fake one. This is the real one. First thing you notice on the real one is this battery. Now this is another reason why I wanted to replace it, because this battery's actually gone dead. And yes, I know you can find those batteries online, and even in Walmart. I just haven't taken the time to do it. And when I saw this for $4, I figured, hell, why the hell not? But there's no battery over here. So like, okay, so is this game even going to work right? I actually have yet to plug it up to a Game Boy. And another thing, you can see there's a lot more little components on here. You see some You see some tiny little capacitors. You see an extra IC chip up here. I mean, clearly the chip design, I mean, the layout itself is different. And I don't know if this is like a generic label for all Game Boy cartridges, but even like the Nintendo logo's on there, and the AGB, EO501. And this is what makes it a forgery. This is what makes it counterfeit, is that they use the Nintendo logo all over it. And like you can see the heat gloves, what do you want to call them? The heat dispersion gloves on there. So there's something inside of there that needs to be, has the heat dispersed, where there's nothing like that over here. And the chip here, and there's a big long chip underneath the battery. Clearly isn't the same board. So I don't know. I'm kind of wondering now if it'll work on a Game Boy. So I'm going to pop that on there. I'm not going to bother. I suppose I better put the screw back in there. So give me just a second. Put the screw back in there. Okay, so I dropped the screw. I'm going to have to get that, when the video's over. Let me go ahead and pop it into a Game Boy. Let me zoom out a bit. Okay, so Game Boy Advance. Alright, it seems to boot up just fine. Okay. Sorry, I've got the front lit Game Boy Advance. I like my Granite one. I don't care what it looks like on camera. Okay, Game Freak. Pokemon. Alright, sounds the same. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So there's a test save on it. Huh. Okay. It's been played for what, 2 seconds, I think? Okay. Is this your house? Wait, what? Oh, totally thought that was Professor something else. Okay, so it seems... excuse me. Seems to function. It's not safe to go out. It's not safe to go alone. Take this. Okay, well, which one's my house? I think this one. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and test the time here. So, as I mentioned before, the original has the battery and the quartz crystal to keep time. Obviously, this one did not have either one, so I wonder if it'll let me... Okay. Well, let me change the time. I don't think it'll let me change the time. Maybe it's not going to work. Maybe the time's not going to work. Alright, well... What is that? 10:22? Yeah, it's 10:22. So, I don't know. I mean, the game itself seems to function. I know there are a few, like maybe 3 events in the whole game that actually require the clock to be working right. Let's just go ahead and show you my cartridge, my actual one, and show you what I mean. And the battery is not... And that's the thing, like, you figure if it didn't detect the clock, or that the battery was dead, or non-existent in this case, that it would show something like an error message. So I'm going to put together mine. See what happens. Show you what happens on it. I'm going to get through this stuff. Is that different music? I think that's different music. Oh. Okay, no, that's the same music. So, let's do that. Yeah, you see where it says internal battery has run dry, game can be played, however clock-based events will no longer occur. So, I mean, you can clearly see that it saves the game still, but I don't know, that's weird. So I wonder if, like, this one keeps time. I don't know, that's weird. I wonder if it keeps time another way. But, yeah, so Pokemon, real Pokemon cartridge looks like shit, still worth more than the, counterfeit Pokemon cartridge. I'm gonna, the thing is like, I paid $4 for it, so I'm not too worried about it. Well, I am going to try to get my money back. I'm going to ask the guy first rather than, potentially get him in legal trouble. I am going to, put a comment on there against him, give him a bad review saying he sold a counterfeit cartridge. So that somebody else sees it, they'll know. My concern is there's actually, there's another bit of his. I looked at his other stuff. He also sells those R4 multi... I don't know what you call them, the flash cards where you put in the SD card, a little micro SD card, and you can have every game made for the advanced library on single cartridge. He also sells those. Actually, that was pretty cheap because it was like $20 as a buy it now. That was pretty cheap. That I will say is a good thing. And there's no there's no counterfeit as long as it works. There's no really counterfeiting those as long as it works. It does what you want it to do. However, they're the same guy is selling all 4 of these games. Of course, they're all forged like this, counterfeit like this one. He's selling all 4 of them at an auction, and it's up to $50 or $60 now. It's like 55 and some change. And I wish there was some way that I can warn these people or put a flag on the guy's account or something, saying that this guy's selling forged material, forged cartridges. And that's something that eBay probably needs to do, is that if you happen to be bidding on an item or you are watching an item, I think that if somebody puts in a review, puts in the comments or gives a bad review, well, I mean, good or bad, I mean, for that matter, it shouldn't go on either one. It should be both. You should be able to see that. If somebody puts in a bad review, you should be able to see that. eBay, I don't know if anybody watches this. Maybe that's something somebody can do. You figure, eBay's been online for at least 15 years at this point, probably closer to 20. I'm not going to bother editing this video much. I'm going to speed it up in a couple places, but that's it.